Ready.
Hi, today I'm going to teach you about evolution. Some people think that evolution is a supernatural or fantastic, unexplainable force, but it's not. Evolution is merely the outcome of a series of events with organisms and interactions between prey, predator, and the environment. Before we have an overview of evolution, I'll give you a brief explanation of proteins, genes, nucleotides, and how they're built and copied within the organism. We know that genes give the order. Genes give us the blueprint for the proteins that we want made in our bodies. Now these proteins that are made are compilations of nucleotides. Now these nucleotides have to be copied exactly. And this copying mechanism can't make any mistakes. Sometimes this copying mechanism does make mistakes. And when this copying mechanism makes mistakes, this results in mutation. Now here, we can see that two sets of nucleotides have been substituted. Now these two nucleotides being substituted, it's going to result in a mutation in some form in the protein. We don't know exactly what, if it's going to be a non-functional protein, if it's going to change the function of the protein, exactly what's going to happen. But in this particular lecture, for simplicity's sake, we're going to say that these two sets of nucleotides, having been substituted, will change an identifiable trait within the organism. Here we're going to observe a population of orange-colored crabs. These orange-colored crabs are free to proliferate and multiply because they're not in the presence of any predators. Now, as successive generations of these crabs proliferate, we see that a mutation occurs. Now, this mutation, the one mentioned earlier, the two sets of nucleotides being substituted, we're going to say, once again for simplicity's sake, that those two sets of nucleotides having been substituted is going to change the color of the crab. These crabs that were orange are now going to have a green shell. So this green shell seems to confer neither an advantage nor a disadvantage of the crabs in the population. But as successive generations of these crabs proliferate, we see that there's an introduction of a predator. This predator only preys on orange-colored crabs. Therefore, the green crabs are free to proliferate. As generations succeed, only the green crabs remain. This is the logical conclusion of events. The orange crab has predators. The green crabs, which are a result of the mutated orange crabs, have no predators and are now free to proliferate. If one were to have observed this population before the transition from the orange shell color, before the introduction of this predator in which this selection pressure was conferred upon this population, and the mutation occurred, conferring that advantage in which the green shell color resulted. If someone were to observe that, not aware of the events that took place between prey and predator, it would seem as though some fantastic event had occurred from the crabs transitioning from an orange shell color to a green shell color. But as we've just seen in a brief explanation of how mutation results in a change in an organism's morphological display, we're able to see that evolution is not some fantastic unexplainable force, but an explainable, verifiable, and in some ways predictable. Thanks.